The next step is to scale the title block by a factor of 48 in English or 50 in metric, and to move the scale block to enclose the floor plan. Now again, there are several ways of scaling the reference, and it's a personal choice as to where you prefer to start tools. Now for the scale tool, we have a choice of using the tools on this line, and here is the scale tool, or we can go to Tools, pop that up, and go to Scale here. Or we can pull this completely down, and this is probably how you're seeing your screen right now. We can set the scale here and here. Or again, you can use the reference toolbar and scale it from here. This is why it's very much a personal choice as to which location you prefer to start tools. I'm going to use this scale reference tool where I have a scale factor as one of the methods. Other methods are absolute ratio. Now, absolute ratio is what you see here. The 1:1 is the absolute ratio. This is a ratio of master units of the master file to master units of the attached file. And that can be quite confusing. In this case, using the scale factor, I need a factor of 48. Or if I'm working in metric, a scale factor of 50. If I use this system here with the absolute references, then this would be a 1:48 scale. This is why I say it's quite confusing. It's usually better to use the scale tool and use a scale factor, which is much more direct and much more intuitive. One other thing in the tool settings window here, we're using the references dialog list to identify the file. It's identified, that's the title block that we are selecting, and it's highlighted. So that's the direct reference to this setting. You could select a reference in the screen if you wish, but this is much more direct and is less liable to cause mistakes. So we will now data point, and if you watch the prompts, it says enter a point to scale the reference file about. This is pretty typical with a scale where you choose a reference. I'm going to just snap to the corner here, and you can see the scale file coming into place here. So that will do. I'll left click and right click, and let's zoom out. And there we see our enlarged title block versus the same size house drawing. Now we need to move the title block to surround the house. So again, we need the move tool. Let's just do it this way for a change. Let's click on move. It's exactly the same tool as this, and you can see that the move tool has highlighted as well. We need a point to move from and a point to move to. Let's center, so we'll start in the center, click and drag, and we'll click somewhere about there. And right click to stop the tool. And now we have the title block neatly surrounding the house drawing. Now the reference is still highlighted in red, but as soon as I turn off the referencing system, then I simply see the two drawings together looking as one drawing. Now again, please keep in mind that the title block that you see is not really in this drawing. It's referenced in from the outside drawing file, but it looks and plots as though it were the same drawing. And that's the power of the referencing system. And this is just a simple example. As I mentioned earlier, in very complex drawings, there may be dozens or even hundreds of referenced in details, as we have just done, which does make for a complicated system, but it's extremely efficient in producing plots of complex subjects. And as we move on to the next video, we'll be adding information to the actual title block itself.